So if I say that's equal to 1.08, that means if you give 100 euros at the foreign exchange kiosk, at that rate, they're going to give you 108 US dollars. That's the convention. Right? And you should always know that currency 2 slash currency 1 is always equal to 1 over currency 1, currency 2. Right? So if I tell you what euro dollar rate is, but I asked how many euros I can get for 100 bucks, you're just going to do 100 over 108. That's it. Okay. Now, let's go back to our table. I'm going to actually use our table to create a little cross-currency calculator. I mean, let me see some of the majors. CHF is short for Swiss franc. CAD, Canadian dollar. JPY, Japanese yen. What else? HKD is Hong Kong dollar. SGD is Singapore dollars. I don't know what ILS is. Currency codes, ILS. Oh, Israeli shekel. Okay. RUB is Russian ruble. MXN is Mexican peso. We already talked about ZAR. And that's about it. I don't know why they don't have Turkish lira here. Oh, they do. TRY is Turkish lira. And these are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. For example, I could ask you, what is the cross rate between Bitcoin and Ethereum? Which means I want you to find out, if I give you 1 Bitcoin, how many Ethereums do you get? Okay. So let's figure that out. So let's kind of set that up as conceptually. Then we're going to create a little calculator using the table. Cross currencies. Suppose I know AUD, USD, and USD TRY. Okay. Oh, there are also two coding conventions. Most currencies, if you don't mention the convention, they're coded as value of $1 US in that currency. There are 4 exceptions to that. One is euro, and the other 3 are British pound, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar. There's a historical reason for that. Until 1971, British pound was not in a decimal system. You have $1, that's equal to 100 cents, right? Right now, you have 1 British pound, that's equal to 100 pence. It's the plural of penny in Britain. Before 1972, 1 British pound was equal to 12 shillings, and each shilling was equal to 6 pence. So if you wanted to talk about value of 1 British pound in dollars, that was easy, because dollar is in decimal. But if you wanted to convert 1 US dollar into British pound, I mean, you could do it. It's not a problem, but it's tedious. So market said, we're going to do British pounds in what's called the direct quotation. directly value of that currency in US dollars. The others are called indirect value of dollar in that currency. Since Australia and New Zealand in the old days used to be colonies of Britain, their currency is also in that system. And when euro came alive in 1999, it just like pound, it was worth more than US dollar. So they used the direct convention on that. Everything else, if it's not mentioned, it's when I say, oh, the exchange rate in Turkey went up against dollar. That means value of the dollar went up. Value of Turkish lira actually went down. In a pair, if one of them goes up, the other must come down. Suppose I know Australian dollar slash USD, which means value of one Australian dollar in US dollar and value of one US dollar in TRY. These are for almost all currency, the market for the exchange rate against US dollar is pretty active. But if you try to find the market of Australian dollars against Turkish lira, that's not a very liquid market. Okay? Because there aren't that many Australian people who does business with Turks or Turkish lira versus Colombian peso. Okay, and other than the drug dealers who do not even use the peso anyway, nobody's going to be interested in that. Either my ears are getting bigger or this thing is not comfortable anymore. So suppose I need to figure out implied cross rate. Okay. The reason I call it implied, if somebody makes you a quote on the cross rate, let's not worry about bid offer spreads for now. And if the implied cross rate is different, you can actually do an arbitrage, which means you can make transactions that are guaranteed to make you money. That's not something we allow in finance. I mean, it's not like it's illegal, but for the prices to be right, there should not be any arbitrage. The way we do that, uh, we do something called something I call a trip around the world. Suppose I need AUD-TRY. So I need value of AUD1 in TRY. And you're probably thinking, it's Turkish lira, why it's not an L? Well, it used to be an L. Until 2005, it was actually TRL. But in 2005, Turkish Central Bank erased 6 zeros from the currency. You know, if you had 50 million lira, now you had 50 lira. But they called it the new lira at that point. It doesn't have that designation anymore, but the abbreviation stood TRY. Y is the first letter of the Turkish word for new, yeni. All right, so let's do it with an example. Not with an example. I know exactly what AUD-TRY is. Where art thou? AUD-USD is, I'm sorry. Right there, it's 64.34. So that means 100 Australian dollars, or as they are known affectionately in the market, 100 Aussies will get you 64 US dollars and 34 cents. Okay. And USD TRY equals 27.0663. When I left back in 2003 to come to University of Kentucky for my PhD, that exchange rate was 1.5. All right. Start with the first currency of the pair, in this case AUD, okay? And determine the value of 1 unit of that currency in US dollars. So if I give you AUD1, that is equal to USD how much, given this convention? If I give you 1 Australian dollars, how much US dollars will that get you? The answer is right over there. Go ahead. Yeah. 0.6434. Please do not round things up arbitrarily, because in a single situation, that's not harmful. But in computational theory, there is something called buildup of round-off errors. If you keep rounding stuff in the intermediate stages, there's going to be a big error in the final stage. Okay.